The Borodino is going to be headlining the wowsl 5-year birthday anniversary special this year. Now, the ship was available a while ago for testing, if I recall. It has been nerfed, though, since you may have tested her in the game. Mainly, its health was dropped down a little bit, and the radar now only lasts 20 seconds instead of 30 seconds. I have really mixed feelings about this ship, so I have 2 replays for you guys today, because I want to show the good and the bad parts of this ship, especially for those of you really interested in getting her, because it's going to cost you. So we're going to break down how much it will cost to get this thing as well a little later on, and I will try to link that below if you're just interested in how much it's going to cost. My current build focuses on sitting and spamming. There are only 2 turrets on this ship. 6 guns. They are 16-inch guns, but that's it. So it's not a lot. I wanted to maximize my damage output. Aiming systems, prop, concealment, and reload in slot 4. My commander for these games was Azerlane Racia with Ravel and Colorado. We buffed the reload down to 23 seconds with this build. Now, if I were free to play, I would likely use Kedrov with the tank build and buff the reload with Ravel. Also, maybe throwing Kondo on there wouldn't hurt because this is a very unstealthy Soviet battleship. I think the free-to-play reload buff option is Dingru Chang, correct me if I'm wrong. If you wanted a full free reload build, you could use him with Ravel. Now, before we get into the games, we really need to look at the armor of this ship because it's different. Most Tier 7 battleships, we just assume it has a 32mm bow. I did. Guess how I found out that it doesn't? You'll get to see that exact moment I figured it out a little later. But yeah, it's not the case. You actually have a huge 25mm bow. Now, you have an icebreaker to help protect you, but most players know this and they're going to be able to abuse it. And this thing seems to hold a ton of health. Even to something as small as 380s, they can be a big danger to you. And hold on to that thought. Now, the other issues with this ship is its massive Soviet citadel. It's way above the waterline. It's like Stalingrad or those other big Soviet battleships. And if you show any sort of broadside at all, you will get yeeted. Also, the ship is massive. It's a huge target. It's very unwieldy. The superstructure is narrow but long and tall. So there's a lot of bad parts of this ship. Now, the good parts are that the deck and upper belt are 50mm, and that means you can bounce Musashi or Yam guns if angled, so that is a plus. So we'll continue to break down the stats, the goods, the bads, and all of that, but I want to show the game that frustrated me so much I decided to stop recording for the night and call it a day. And the second game I will show you will be the highest damage I got. Usually I'd like to play 10 or 15 games in a ship like this to get a feel for it so that I can break it down for you guys. But this one, nope, was done after this one. Now, the game in question is on Trap, and I really like this map. Honestly, it's one of my favorites. I feel like I say that a lot. Let me give you my top 3. Trident, Straight, and probably Trap, I guess, but I really like this map. Look at the color palette on this one. It's bright, the sun's shining, the greens are popping, the ocean's blue. Some maps look kind of drab and boring, but this one, it looks good, and it's fun to play on, and it's fun to record on because I feel like it makes for good recordings. And the nice blue sky is being darkened right now by a Parseval. Let's see what the Parseval does to the Borodino. Oh my goodness. Yeah, well, that's how this one's going to start off. This ship takes a lot of thought on positioning as we take 12k in damage. It takes a lot of thought on positioning because it's massive. The turning circle is a gigantic 1,060 meters. You thought Iowa was unmaneuverable? No. This is 10 meters worse than the old Goober Kurfürst up at Legendary tier, and it is the 3rd biggest turning circle in the entire game, behind Stalingrad and the Dyson. So you have to be very careful where you're positioning. Now, we wanted to position here with the rock on my left to protect us, and so that we could prevent this flank from getting overran. The Benson was an A-cap, so we're going to put our big 11.7 kilometer radar to use pretty early on. We get 2 pins, that's nice, and hopefully our teammates can help us capitalize on it because 20 seconds goes by very, very fast. We go ahead and load HE in case we get another chance. He is stopping. Before we fired, we lost the lock on him, so you can see the accuracy was terrible, and it means we're not going to score any more hits, and that frustrates me a little bit. Hopefully I don't spam the comm wheel too much in this one, but usually on update day, yeah, at a certain point, I'm just kind of tired of playing. RNG in this one is just going to frustrate me so much. It's part of playing a battleship, especially one with only 6 guns. I get it, but it just kind of wore me thin, and I don't know. You guys tell me if I'm being sensitive in this one as you watch it back. But that was my thinking in positioning here. I protect my big broadside from the side. The aircraft carrier can only attack me from one direction. He has to fly out into my teammates over here. Benson's back up. Let's see if we can get him off the board. Luckily, our teammates are focusing him pretty hard. 2 more pins, and he goes down. That is great. First blood, we're looking pretty good. Now, they still have a couple ships pushing over here that we haven't got to punish yet. Usually, this position for crossfires is great. You don't really have to travel anywhere for crossfires because the red team is going to come right to you. And speaking of, there is a nice, juicy hood right here. We're top tier, which is nice. But, you know, there are just enough powerful tier 7 ships here that, you know, we could be in trouble. Torps flying by here in the front. That has to be Jaeger because the Benson is dead. So we shouldn't be going out around this corner, that is for sure. Jaeger doesn't have smoke, or does he? Now I can't remember. But being positioned here means our radar could cover B and A cap. So if the DD wasn't a Jaeger and it was something with smoke and he sailed into B and he smoked up, then being in this position, it would be great to cover both caps. Luckily though, our Fletcher is a mega Chad, has a phenomenal game, so GG's to that guy, and he is going to take care of that Jaeger for us, as the Jaeger dumps more torps. For us, I don't know, those might have been for the Fletcher. So this 11.7 kilometer radar, it is huge. The only other battleships at the tier that have radars are the Missouri and the Constellation, I suppose, but really that's a battle cruiser. That is such a squishy ship. It only lasts 20 seconds, but the range is huge. I played against it in the Velos, a couple Borodinos, and one of them positioned in the middle of the map is just hard to deal with because it covers so much area. That is powerful. Is it better than Missouri's 35-second 9.9 kilometer radar? I don't know. That's always the debate against Soviet radars versus American. I suppose the better range does make it more powerful, but yeah, I don't know. It is definitely close. So stats. I built everything into the reload on this ship for a very specific reason. This ship has a 2.0 Sigma and battlecruiser dispersion as I understand it. Now that should make it stupid accurate, and I'll let you be the judge as you watch both of these games. You know, do we have bad RNG, or was it accurate enough that you guys would be, you guys would be happy? The Francesco is AFK, and I wish I could say that was my first teammate that was AFK today. I don't know. Yeah, I won't get on that rant. I know that is probably one of the most frustrating things in World of Warships, is to have a teammate that you're really relying on, but they're AFK and they're not playing. The only thing more frustrating than that in World of Warships is getting a 3v3 match. Okay, Borkas is up here, and this ship is incredibly frustrating to play against, I have to say. So it's armored in 30 millimeters everywhere, a tier 6 Fiji with 30 mil. This was a great idea, Wargaming. I love this. And if angled, he can bounce anything except Georgia guns, Republic guns, or Yamato or Musashi giant 460 millimeter guns. But when he's broadside, he seems to draw overpins from these Borodino guns. So this ship is just incredibly frustrating to deal with. The best thing you can do if you come up against one of these Bortas ships, load HE. So you'll watch here, we're going to load HE and try to protect this flank, because the only other ship over here is the Francesco and he's not playing. So we're going to try to burn the Bortas down here and just reverse around this island if I feel like I'm going to die or be in trouble. And I just need to stop these two ships from pushing, basically. Now, buffing into the accuracy versus the reload. This has been something that I've been doing more of here lately. If you've been following the channel for the last couple of months, you know that I've been leaning more and more towards reload builds instead of full accuracy builds. Maybe it's preference. I like to fire more than to wait for that big knockout strike. It seems like volume of fire is just more fun for me. It seems invariably you have a battleship like Vermont. It's extremely accurate, but you only get to fire every 36 seconds, so if you get that bad salvo, it makes you really want to pull your hair out. So I've been speccing more into full reload because of that. You're still playing a game of chance with RNG, but at least I get to roll the dice a few more times. Okay, we loaded AP. Bortas here probably thinks I'm going to send another HE salvo his way. And to tell you the truth, I should have. And then I could have just killed him and been done with it. Let's watch this AP salvo. 2 overpins. So the accuracy wasn't great. I think most of the shells went high. We didn't find the Citadel, which, apparently that's the only way you can kill this thing, is hitting it with the Citadel. I know Soviet battleships, they have high shell velocity, and Borodino is no different. She is a sniper through and through. Very accuracy, high velocity guns. She's probably better at longer to medium ranges, but there is nothing more frustrating than, just a ship going broadside in front of you and getting away with it. And it's the reason I'm not going to shoot the Bortas again, because what's the point? At that angle, he would bounce everything, and Amagi did too, to be honest. So we're going to load the HE again, because that seems to be the only thing that I can do against this, what is it? I don't know, Karelian Klingon? This Star Trek Fiji. Back to the accuracy, I didn't get clarification on this, but part of me wonders if, like other Soviet battleships, if your accuracy is contingent on being sub 11 kilometers. Most Russian battleships are very accurate at close ranges, lower than 11 kilometers, but as you get up past that, the accuracy really drops off, and that could absolutely be the case here. Maybe ask somebody in the Discord, the main Discord, if you see them, because I didn't clarify on that, but that is what it feels like. Amagi's going broad. Let's see if we get a good salvo here to clean his clock. 1 pin, 2 overpins, but we do pick up the high cal. Yeah, the game is actually pretty close. We're up on ships, but these ships over here just seem to be getting away with so much. We got another broadside shot on a Fiji at 8.9 kilometers. Let's see how we do. 1 overpin. Maybe this is making a case to spec accuracy. I really don't know what this is telling me, except for to turn your Xbox off, Derka, because, yeah, just turn your Xbox off. Amagi's getting broad again. We're going to leave the Bortas over there. Since he just has the armor-piercing shells, and is not dealing a ton of damage, honestly, and the fire chance from Amagi seems to be more dangerous. So that is kind of why we're giving up on shooting him. Our turret traverse is actually pretty quick, so we're going to whip the turrets over here real quick, and let's see if we can finally finish this guy off of the board. And we do. We finally find the Citadel for the Dev Strike. So, finally. But you notice I loaded the HE because I didn't have any faith in that salvo doing what it needed to do. Now we'll go back forward here. There's still a hood in the cap, and we're going to get the big, beautiful heel off. And we need those big, beautiful heels. 13,520 each. That should be top 5 for heels at tier 7. It's almost a Vanguard heel, really. So hopefully we can get it going really quickly and stay alive here. Now this little smoking island, or whatever it is, I'm desperately trying to aim through it. Where's the hood? Which way is he going? I guess that's part of the map that I said that I love. Yeah, it's cool. It's never been in my way so much, though. 4 pins on hood, and we'll keep going forward here, and hopefully we can finish him off of the board. Now, we definitely need those big heals, because if you haven't noticed, Borodino only has 60,000 HP. That is not a lot for a tier 7. Flander, for instance, has 15k more. The hood finally goes down. There is only 1 red ship remaining, and it's the Parzival, the guy that dropped us for, what was it, 12k in the first 45 seconds of the match. So what I'm thinking is I would love to go forward and get the carrier. Okay, there's his planes, so I'm basically dead. You really don't have any defense against a Parseval or other AP bombers. Honestly, I've been 12k'd by an Enterprise. The crappy Enterprise that everyone keeps talking about is a terrible CV. It's very good against the Borodino, so keep that in mind. And he gets his drop off. That's that. It's okay though, we're going to win this match, and it was well fought. It was well played by everyone, especially our Fletcher. Thank you for carrying me to victory. We'll let the rest of this one kind of run out here in high speed so you can see how it ends. But yeah, 60k HP, it is not a lot. The damage cons though, the beautiful thing about this ship is you have unlimited damage cons, unlike the Vladivostok or the Lenin at this tier. It comes back in 68 seconds, so it's nothing crazy fast like Lenin's 38 seconds, but it is nice to have the unlimited damage cons. It's just one of the trade-offs for the bad armor that this ship has. So the super high shell velocity, it led to a lot of overpins in this match. You could see that. It's a tier 6 cruiser, I get that, but cruisers can definitely abuse that with broadside technology, as we hear it called by Mr. Jerk. Just go broadside in front of the Borodino if you're in your cruiser and you're going to do just fine. Now that was the wrap up on Trap. We had a good game, but it was frustrating. 77 shell hits, felt like I did a lot more fighting for that little amount of damage and that little impact that I had over there. But I suppose our positioning, we were able to fend off the Reds from just overrunning that side of the map, and we pulled out the dub thanks to the Fletcher. Now, I called the AA weak. You have a DPS of 348. That's really average, and of course I'm unsure on flak burst damage, but I would say almost every match today had a CV, and most of them didn't have a problem dumpstering me and flying back around for another pass. The AP bombers especially were very deadly to this thing, and looking at it, it seems to have decent Citadel deck protection and deck armor, 50 mil, but absolutely got citadeled because I wasn't able to heal any of that back, both from Enterprise strikes and Parseval strikes. So AP bombers, be careful if you're in your Borodino. You're definitely going to want to use teammates for AA protection. Now the ship is pretty fast in a straight line, 31 knots, and on this map we'll actually be able to use it. We're going to push right for this flank over here. We have one cruiser spotted, one battleship spotted, and I think the other cruiser was spotted by the CV. That means there's not a single destroyer, so we are going to take this big behemoth and just rush around the corner of this island at 30 plus knots. I thought the CVs used to spawn on this side, but in this match, definitely not. Or maybe when they reworked spawns, it moved? Unsure. But still, we're going to go headlong around this island. There are a couple cruisers that we'll be able to abuse. The other cruiser, I don't know what it is. I'm thinking it's an Amalfi at this point, so I'm going to hold my radar just in case he wants to smoke. That can be a dangerous cruiser up close, just because if he angles well, he should be able to torp rush us. Anyways, we have our radar. We are ready. So in a straight line, she's good. The rudder shift, it's okay. 15.4 seconds is above average, and we have the Southern Dragon. We get a good first hit on him, 4 overpins, but that's okay. One more salvo should finish him off as we turn in for the inevitable torpedoes that he dropped on us. With this ship, you're absolutely going to want to take the concealment module in slot 3 because the concealment is terrible. 15.5 kilometers, that is about the worst at this tier as we get the first blood on the Southern Dragon. Not the Northern Dragon, the Southern Dragon. That poor ship. Anyways, moving around here, the Cross of Dorn is dead too, so both cruiser threats eliminated. All we have is a battleship, and we can push straight into their base and set up some pretty nasty crossfires, and that is our plan here. And I hate to abuse tier 6 ships, but the matchmaking is what it is, and it happens to all of us, so here we go. We're going to abuse away in this one for sure. Years ago, I don't know if you remember this, only the British battleships used to get the concealment module, but all battleships having it now, it is definitely what you should run. I would say the only time that you ever want to use target acquisition on a battleship is maybe if you're doing a meme max range build like Champagne or FTG or Stalingrad, but concealment is typically much better on most ships, especially battleships. Yeah, I would use it 90% of the time. and especially on this ship. Now, Azerlane Rosia helps with the concealment a little bit. I think she can buff it by 4%. And that's why at the beginning I was saying if you're free to play, you might consider putting Kondo on it because it's going to help you get around the map and have a lot better time. So Connecticut, we really need to finish him off. I'm concerned about the Jambar and the mines in the middle of the map. So we're going to try to finish this guy really quickly so we can keep pushing forward before I get stuck in a crossfire. That is one bad thing about this ship. It is so massive that, you know, you can easily get outmaneuvered and then you're in deep, deep trouble. We take Connecticut's gun there, and if the Connecticut knew better, he could be abusing my bow right now, and so could the Colorado. So it's very fortunate that neither of these guys really know where to shoot, because at this close of range, the Borodino, like, you can absolutely abuse it. One more salvo here, and the Connecticut is going to go down, and we'll slam it fully forward and see if we can dodge his airstrike 2 that he just called in on us. And it looks like we're just going to miss it. Perfect. We didn't get caught broadside by the JB yet, so let's go ahead and push up into this Colorado and see if we can catch the Implacable. And our team is looking really good right now. For now, this match is going to end up being a lot closer than it needs to be. And part of it is my fault, and I will definitely take the blame for that. You gotta know your ship. And if you don't know it, things happen like what happens here in a few minutes. So the Colorado has a squishy bow as well, so we are aiming for that. Unsuccessfully here, but we're gonna keep trying to see if we can punch through his bow. We actually got 2 pins through the front there for about 9k, so that is pretty good. We'll keep shooting for that same spot and circle around and see if we can help our teammates with the mines in the Jambar, which of course are very, very dangerous ships, probably the most overpowered ships at tier 7, and here they are still being played quite a bit, and that is why I'm really happy that nowadays Wargaming seems to be releasing some pretty conservative campaign ships. I mean, the Lucian was strong, but for the most part they seem to be pretty conservative, and I think that is an absolutely good thing. You know, if the Velos ends up being a little weaker, I'm still testing her right now, I would be okay with that, and then consider buffing in a month or a little bit. And the same with the Enterprise. You know, she came out pretty weak, but she was buffed quickly, and honestly, I mean, she's not great now, but she is a little bit better. Definitely not the best carrier at tier 7, but I've had some better matches with her, especially with Picard, and I've seen what they can do to the Borodino. So yeah, I would much rather campaign ships be a little more cautious. Now, the playstyle of this ship, you can really see it's a bow in one position sort of playstyle. Some maps like this one, yeah, we were able to push around it and flank a little bit, mostly because we had island protection on one side, but if there's a big open spot in the middle of the map, it's hard to flank just because your broadside is so delicate. Now, we did catch up to the Implacable here, and we're going to go ahead and send our first shot at him. Perfect. 2 Citadels and the High Cal. Beautiful. I was hoping our teammates could go ahead and finish off the Colorado. They're a little farther behind me, so they don't have the Implacable in range yet, like I do. Now the carrier has caught on, and he is going to come and drop me here. And he's going to land one right on the bow that is going to cause a flood. What could I have done differently here? I didn't want to go any further forward because of the JB. But what I could have done differently is not DC the single flood, knowing the Implacable was going to come around and drop me again, which is exactly what he's going to do, unfortunately. And this one, he's also going to catch on the bow. We're saturated, but it doesn't matter. He's going to flood me. So, a trade. I definitely took him off the board, but he caught us with the perm flood. Our heals are going to help a lot with that, but still, it's going to take a lot of my health and kind of limit my mobility. With a flood, your battleship, your ship is a lot slower, so we could have maybe backed up and got a better shot on the mines here, but we'll be unable to do that. Stats-wise, I have my complaints about this ship, sure, but she's performing remarkably well. I think my average XP is 2300. Now granted, that'll probably, you know, iron out a little bit with more games, but okay, we have mines here. Let's see if we can get a good shot on him. He's staying angled, so he knows what he's doing, unfortunately, and I don't think we're going to be able to deal that much damage. Yeah, well, an overpen and 2 shatters. Interesting. So we'll go back forward here, and my grand plan at this point in time is, first off, I need to DC this flood, and I should have stopped here, healed up, and waited. But what I was thinking is I have this big, tanky Soviet battleship. I have 2 cruisers behind me. If the JB is dead, our 2 cruisers can 2v1 the mines and win. Easy. So going through my mind right now is just to rush the JB and to ram him, because again, I'm thinking Vladivostok, Lenin, there is nothing a JB or most any battleship can do to you up close except knock your turrets. Yeah, so we have a 25mm bow, and 380s are more than enough for that. So we aim for JB's turrets, trying to get one real quick. 10k, doesn't matter. Yes, just punches right through our weakly armored bow. And so now I'm thinking, okay, well, let's just go bow in, and then there's nothing he can do to me. Yeah, it's still 25mm. So that's not a situation that you're going to want to find yourself in this ship. Now, I'm told, I was watching the wowsl guy stream today, and it has protections against getting citadeled, but still, you can take massive pin damage through your nose, so you have to be careful. I don't think this is the best battleship at tier 7, not by a long shot, and to me, that might make it not worth the cost, and we're going to go over that now. So the Borodino costs 12,500 drachmas. In the campaign, you can get 1,500 for free, 3,000 more with Admiralty backing. In the calendar event, 1,500. In the treasure hunt web event, 2,000. For free, it says you may need to spend some in-game resources to get the full reward though. Now this brings you up to 8,000 drachmas. You're going to need 4,500 more to get the Borodino. You can get this amount by buying random bundles in the store. If you spend 10,000 doubloons, you get 10 champion boxes and then also 2,500 more drachmas. So you would have to buy 2 of these. That would give you 5k, and then you would have enough. So unless I am missing something, the total cost to get the Borodino should be 22,500 doubloons, and you would get 20 of those champion box crates, a crate and a crate, and the campaign rewards and all that stuff. But 22,500, so it's more than a tier 7 standalone premium. And for me, that doesn't really seem worth it. There are other options. For instance, the Rio de Janeiro is also coming with this event, and it costs 5,000 drachmas. Now, if you could find yourself enjoying a tier 4, it looks like a phenomenal tier 4 battleship. It's basically an Agincourt, 1 tier up. So it looks really, really good. It has, 14 305mm guns, so that is an option. Now, also coming in this event is the Georgia for 6,500 drachmas, the Belfast 43, the Siegfried, the Independence, or the Egla, all for 6,500 drachmas. So there are some good options there if you don't have any of those ships. If you're looking for a tier 7 premium ship, the Georgia, look no further than that. The Georgia is amazing. She's fast. She has massive 457mm guns, the best AP alpha in the entire game. Still, speed boost, crazy AA, which you need. There is no situation where I would call the Borodino better than the Georgia. Maybe for map control, having that big 11.7 kilometer radar is cool, but I would say the Georgia is the better battleship for sure. Now, I don't feel bad at wargaming about this one, the 22,500 doubloons for the Borodino. I don't feel bad at all. I feel like they're offering up plenty of other rewards. Again, we've decided you can get 8k drachmas for 2,500 doubloons in the Admiralty backing. So there are 5-6 ships there that you could get for very cheap. And 3 of them are tier 7s. Pretty good tier 7s is that at that. Belfast 43, I think that is a great cruiser. The Siegfried, she got buffed, even though I thought she was good before. Now, one thing I don't understand is why the Independence and the Egla, both tier 5s, why were they also 6,500 drachmas? I don't consider those like crazy powerful tier 5s, so I don't know. I would have made those just a little bit cheaper, personally. But yeah, so some really good things that you could pick up. And also, I saw that if you play 60 battles during this update, you could get a 70% off ships count. and those can be played in AI as well. So play some on mobile, test out the new gamepad controller thing, and save yourself the money of the Borodino, because in my eyes, I don't think it's worth that many doubloons personally. It's a fun battleship, but you know, if you have the Missouri for steel, I would play the Missouri. I think it's better with its AA, it's better maneuverability, it's better armor protection. Yeah, I would take the Missouri hands down over the Borodino. And if I was still looking at a list of tier 7 BBs, I think there are global XP battleships that are actually better than the Borodino. The Monarch, the Flander, those are exceptional battleships, and they won't cost you a cent, which that's what I'm all about. Is, you know, not spending a ton of money on this game. And unless you guys want to, I would like to, you know, provide options for you guys that are not expensive, because I know how it can be on WoW's PC. I am not a CC, and I understand how expensive everything is. And, you know, it's just hard to, it's hard to rationalize paying for some of this stuff. It's a cool hobby, yeah, but it's very expensive. Now, this was a close game, but my teammates are going to carry the win on the points victory. Although the Fiji was making me very nervous, if Udachi came around the corner here and spotted him, I think he's behind the island now, but I was afraid the JB could blippity blap him, and that would be that. But with 9 seconds left, we're going to win it, and we all learned a valuable lesson by watching me get my face wrecked, right? You have a 25mm bow, be careful who you brawl against in the Borodino, because the players who know about it, they're absolutely going to abuse it. But yeah, still a decent result for that one. Let me know what you guys think of the Borodino and the 5-year birthday event in the comment section down below. Lots more videos coming your way this week. I'll see you then.